Boys and girls, Thanksgiving is coming up and everyone is thinking about, I don't know, spending time with their family, rekindling old relationships, and having a fun, wholesome time eating some turkey at the dinner table. But before you do all of that, before you do whatever it is you think is important with your family, we've got something very important to discuss. Like more allegations of abuse. Hooray! Yes, everybody, happy Thanksgiving. We got our priorities straight this year. This year has been like the year of allegations. I mean, we had Dr. Disrespect, we had Chris Tyson, we had The Do. We've had so many different allegations to varying levels of severity, varying levels of evidence, varying levels of proof, and some of them have also been false. And the most recent allegations are about Tectone. He's a huge streamer. You guys probably know him as being one of these, he plays these weird anime games, okay? It's not really my thing. It's like an anime game, but it's gambling. I don't really understand it. I don't really get it. I don't really like anime. You know, it's not my world, not my thing, but he does it, and he's very successful at it. And he's so big on Twitch that he is, or rather was until this happened, a member of OTK, also known as One True King, which is basically like a streamer group, frat house sort of thing, where a bunch of popular streamers make a bunch of content together, and more often than not, they accuse each other of going gorilla mode on each other sometimes, now and then. I think this is like the third time there's been allegations about someone in this specific group, which in fairness, with any concentration of people put in one place, there's bound to be an allegation between each other, especially when they're all degenerate YouTube people, degenerate streamer people, right? Like way back in the day, we had the allegations that Adriana Lee made against Crazy Slick, who was Mizkif's best friend. Mizkif obviously being a very big streamer. He's also a member of OTK, and it caused a lot of strife, a lot of problems within the OTK organization. So needless to say, OTK has been in a lot of controversy, and a lot of tweets about the situation are like, it's always OTK, which it's not always OTK, but it has happened with OTK people before. Their rep is just destroyed. I feel like Mizkif at this point is probably like, man, what have I done? But what else could really get you guys in the Thanksgiving mood aside from discussing allegations of misconduct? I mean, come on, guys. I'm basically at the dinner table right now. I'll have some allegations with a side of cranberry sauce. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer here. I'm not a huge fan of Tectone or anything, but I have seen some of his content. I've seen some of his takes around, and I think he's pretty funny. Okay, I do think he's a funny guy, so there is a slight amount of bias here in terms of that, but I don't really have any stake in whether he's innocent or guilty. We're just gonna look over the allegations as they are and try to come to our own conclusion based on the evidence that we have, which in this case, well, we'll get to it. Now, this entire drama started from Tectone's former love interest. Maybe love is a strong word there, but former interest. Her name is Pinky Chu, and even prior to this situation, they actually made headlines in regards to their relationship. Earlier this year, Pinky defended Tectone after people online were speculating that he had divorced his ex-wife after having an affair with Pinky Chu. And so at the time, she was clearly defending him. She was on his side. She was like, no, Tectone's a good guy. That didn't happen. He followed the boundaries of the relationship. He followed the boundaries of good standing for content creators, okay? Because, hey, if you're a content creator and you have a bad thing happen in a relationship, well, I personally think that you're done. You're toast.
Was it cheating on her with Pinky before divorce?
And like I said, and I'm going to clear it up again, that's not true. Okay, I've already shown you my tweet, my first messages with Tectone. And as you can see, even with the cameras that she spied on, it was in December. Okay, December 18th is when we met in real life. December 16th is when we first ever spoke and had any kind of interaction, like online. And then here is a public divorce. The date of the filed divorce was November 21st, 2022. Okay, Freem had already moved out in September, and they're already talking about and trying to get paperwork together for divorce. She didn't file it till November. Okay, so there's no cheating.
Now, months after that incident, Pinky would also vaguely talk on stream about being cheated on.
Okay, weird question time. Has anyone ever been cheated on? How do you react to something like that, by the way? Like, is it weird? Like, I know some people are like, oh, you'll crash out or something when you learn about that, like you got cheated on. But is it weird that for me, like, I just like, oh my God, I don't have to deal with this piece of shit anymore.
And this obviously led a lot of people to speculate that Tectone may have cheated on her in that relationship. There may have been some kind of situation there where maybe she was defending him and she didn't really mean it, or she was lying for him, she was covering for him. And then later on, maybe he got her back. Maybe he cheated on the wife and cheated on her. Like, there's just a lot of crazy speculation around this stuff. You guys know how it goes with any drama situation, especially with the personal lives of streamers who have some of the most parasocial audiences ever. It can get touchy. It can get very touchy. But at this point in time, Pinky Chu is not coming out against Tectone. She was avoiding going full Blazing Saddles, Blaze of Glory, Burn It to the Freaking Ground by Linkin Park. Okay, she was avoiding that. But in September, she would actually tweet something. Please stop talking about me on stream. Stop lying. I broke up with you because I suspected you were cheating on me. Stop taking pot shots at me on stream. You know, the next day we got back together, I broke up with you on July 23rd. absurd. Didn't want to be your friends with benefits on July 26. You wouldn't even let me ride in the car with you and Sophia, and I was outside the house drunk and alone. I'm not stupid, and I suspected cheating. Just stop. It wasn't good. It was a lot of bad. So it's obvious here that their relationship has fallen apart. They're no longer buddy-buddy. They're not getting along in the way that they used to, and so now she's coming out against him and making some allegations, but it's nothing too serious, right? It is obviously, I mean, cheating's not a good thing to do, but cheating's not a good thing to do, but I will say that realistically speaking, these are not like game-ending allegations. It's more like, okay, well, he was kind of mean to me. I thought he might have been cheating on me, but I didn't really know. And she's mad apparently that he was taking pot shots at her on stream. I don't know if that's true, but it very well could be. You know, sometimes streamers will kind of make offhand comments about their personal lives and not really realize how much of an effect it can actually have in the real world, or maybe just not realize that the person they're talking about may get mad at them and freak out. But I don't know. I haven't seen those clips and I can't seem to find them anywhere. Now, there would also be several follow-up tweets of Pinky talking about potential victims, and she specifically used the word we when talking about them. He is not lying to protect me. He is lying because he doesn't want Sophia to know we were still together. I was told by someone else he told her this same lie. And here you have him saying, you ever just lie to protect someone, but they make it so hard. So clearly she's saying like, oh, he's not lying to protect me. This isn't for my benefit. This is because he doesn't want the truth to be exposed. Ooh. Now, that same exact day, Pinky would tweet heavily insinuating that Tectone had forced his wife to sign an NDA about this abuse that allegedly happened, as well as showing pictures of what looks like plane tickets. So here she said, we both know how treated me and your ex-wife. I think she meant you, how you treated me and your ex-wife. We both know how he treated me and your ex. We both know how you treated me and your ex-wife. You had her sign an NDA to keep her quiet about the abuse, then told me specifically to go over the car clip on stream and lied to me and said it was the day you caught her cheating. But I later found out it was a lie. Just like your many lies. You used me and manipulated me to make you look like the victim, when she was the victim all along. She didn't even know Cruz till a month later. As shown here, this is how he treated both of us. Our friends saw it, my family saw it, and I'm glad I'm out. So she's essentially just accusing him of cheating here, but on top of that, she's also accusing him of abuse, which, to be clear, from what I know, it depends on what it is, but if it's like some kind of misconduct that crosses the legal boundaries, to my knowledge, you can't have someone sign an NDA for that, or if you do have them sign it, I don't think that's enforceable because like a contract, a civil contract between two people doesn't supersede the law that the United States government has set, so it doesn't really make sense to me. Maybe she's misinformed, maybe she's outright lying. Who really knows? I don't know this girl, you don't know this girl, so probably not good to get too invested here, but regardless of that, this doesn't look to be completely as straightforward as she's making it. Now, this was all the way back in September, so this was months ago, but now that we have this background, it's time to get into the actual current allegations now that we've built the story a little bit. And another thing I want you to keep in mind here, I'm going to make a little bit of a disclaimer here before we go forward with this situation, okay? The important thing to remember is that there's zero actual evidence on either side when it comes to this. Now, that doesn't mean that Pinky is wrong because she very well could be telling the truth, but it's ultimately up to the accuser to provide proof beyond a reasonable doubt and not the accused. Unless the accused like admits to whatever, you know, they're being accused of despite the absence of a preponderance of evidence. We want to go by the innocent until proven guilty mentality here. Just keep that in mind as we move forward. This case is very much a he said, she said type deal, and in the absence of having anything that I can prove what she said, I have to ultimately assume that what he said may be the case. So on November 20th, Pinky would tweet, why is it when victims try to come forward about sexual abuse, they get silenced by clout chasers and orbiters and CEOs trying to line their pockets from advertisers? How many women with the same story have to say something till people realize they're protecting an abuser? It has baffled me how the streaming industry acts like a mini Hollywood, blacklisting victims so no one will hear them out, no one wants to support them publicly so victims are afraid to speak up, and millionaires that abuse women just continue to get away with it. Now, this is obviously a very loaded claim, and on one hand, you know, a lot of people have made similar allegations and speculations about OTK, One True King as an organization, because of what happened with Crazy Slick back in the day. There's a lot of info out there on the internet if you want to look it up, but essentially what happened was there was this girl named Adriana Lee. She was asleep, and some people allege that while she was asleep, a guy named Crazy Slick, who was a member of OTK and one of Ms. Gift's best buddies, had come over and touched her. And essentially, past that point of time, the allegation as far as Crazy Slick was not even the biggest part of it. The biggest allegation was this claim that Ms. Gift and Maya and these other members of OTK had tried to cover up the SA allegations. And so what Pinky is saying here is kind of alluding to that idea, alluding to that preconceived notion, which is that the streaming world is just like Hollywood with Harvey Weinstein and all those guys, and victims will never actually get their justice. They're being silenced, they're being blacklisted, stuff like that. But in all reality, this was just a prelude to what she would share later that day. And several comments would end up asking what exactly she was referring to because they wanted her to elaborate on this statement, to be like, hey, you're making this very vague statement. Is this about Tectone? Is this about someone else? Is this, you know, what's going on here? Is this about your dad, Gerald? What's going on here? And at 6 p.m., she would actually validate their speculations. How are you supposed to feel if a guy is abusive and makes you cry, then shoves your head on his crotch and demands you suck him off? And his excuse is emotion just turns me on when you cry. The gorilla mode allegations are in full swing. Jeez. Or when you are asking that you don't feel comfortable doing something sexual and he records you and demands you stop making faces and pretend you like it. Or you say you don't want to do it anymore and he shoves your head down till you throw up. Guilt trips you into giving BJs and says, do your job, you don't pay rent. I took you to a water park, so you owe me. And all you can do is sleep upstairs because you know what he's going to keep telling you to do. He doesn't touch you, doesn't have sex with you, just keeps you around as a BJ machine and degrades you. A BJ machine. Isn't that a thing you can buy? I know this is probably a bad time to bring this up, but can you buy that? Isn't that like a thing? Like a product? I've heard. So I've heard. I wouldn't know anything about it. That's just what I've heard. Don't goon. Makes you feel ugly. Don't wear baggy clothes. Straighten your hair. At least wear eyeliner around the house. Your self-worth totally crushed. I hate that people warned me. I didn't listen because I was so manipulated. I hate that I was lied to when another girl who went through worse was trying to come forward. Me and her are good now, but I should have listened. When you're in it, you feel blind to reason. I see some comments that are worrying, and I just want to let y'all know I am out and have my own place and I'm safe. Don't want to worry anyone. I've been taking it one day at a time since this. Now, while she didn't explicitly name Tectone, it was kind of obvious to people replying who she was referring to because of the prior knowledge that she had a kind of relationship with Tectone and something was going on there. She had defended him in the past, so people were like, all right, well, who else could it really be? I mean, it has to be this one obvious guy. Unless it's someone else, she's just not saying it. So all of the replies would reach out in support of her, and Pinky would end up tweeting about this a few hours later, where she said, I feel so much better. Thank you for the love and support. I hope the next girl sees it and is able to stand up for herself. I think I needed to say my piece so I could move on. I don't care about things blowing up. I just wanted my side to be heard. Now, obviously, at this point, Tectone being a huge streamer, a lot of people are talking about this. There's a lot of people who don't like him because of, you know, some political statements he's made that are kind of vague, but they kind of ascribe a certain belief system to it. There's people who don't like him because he's gotten in certain dramas and they feel he came out on the wrong end of it. So there's a lot of people out there who don't like him in general, who do exist. But then there's also people who do like him and want to defend him. He has a very loyal fan base. I'd say one of the more loyal fan bases on Twitch, especially in the gacha game community. And so with everyone talking about it, Tectone himself felt the need to respond, and he would actually do it on stream and on Twitter.
So if you're confused, you're going to stay confused, because this shit is not about content for me. Okay? I know the person who needs to hear this is going to hear this, and I mean this genuinely, okay? I did everything for you. I helped you with everything. I fixed everything for you. I was there for you like nobody else was there for you in your whole life. Your words, not mine. The fact that you're letting these people get into your ear, people, the same people who are talking behind my back illegally, by the way, the same people who placed me under an NDA, where I cannot talk about them. I know they're talking to you right now behind the scenes, and they're getting you to believe in bullshit. You're talking to retard after retard, letting them get in your head and make you imagine problems that never happened. And it's insane how these things that have happened in your own mind, you are now coming at me.
Now, this NDA that Tectone mentions makes me think that maybe his ex-wife somehow got into communication with Pinky and they started talking. Again, this is highly speculative. We don't really know what's going on here, but from the information we have previously, I think it's fair to say that may be the case. There's some behind the scenes action going on between these people who believe that they were abused, or maybe they don't believe they were abused and they just hate Tectone and want to get at him. Once again, we don't really know. It's hard to really say definitively what's going on here with these people's intentions, especially with the absence of evidence. So it's really tough to say what's going on. I think when you watch the clip, a lot of people took what he said as like, oh, well, he's not denying the abuse, so he must have done it, right? But that's not really what's going on here. If anything, more of what he's saying is like, hey, it really hurts me that this person would say these things when I had done everything for them. Now, obviously, just because he said that doesn't mean he's innocent, but it also doesn't mean that he's guilty, and I think that's the important thing to remember. I just don't like the fact that a lot of people are jumping to conclusions about this when we have no evidence that he's done anything wrong, really. Now, with his response tweet, he went into far more detail, and there he said, as many of you are aware by now, Pinky Shoe, my ex-girlfriend, has accused me of a number of things that I can't let go unaddressed. I've been accused of sexual assault, potentially prostitution, and severe emotional abuse, among other things. I want to make this extremely clear. Everything she accuses me of in her statement is a complete lie. Nothing about these accusations is true. They are entirely made up. Out of respect for our previous relationship, I will give Pinky Shoe 2 weeks to apologize for these statements and acknowledge that they are false and inaccurate. If this does not happen, I will pursue legal action against Pinky Shoe and those who knowingly repeat her lies with a reckless disregard for the truth. I have preserved all text messages, videos, and additional evidence from the time during the relationship and am more than willing to prove my innocence in a court of law. I am more than willing also to comply with any legal investigation into the truth of what actually happened. I am certain that when all the facts are laid out, my innocence will be unquestionable. As a victim of SA myself, I find it absolutely disgusting that someone would weaponize a lie on this scale. Using false claims of SA and our word as a weapon to achieve some sort of revenge for how a relationship ended does more damage to real victims than almost anything else. It's because of liars like Pinky Shoe that weaponize trauma that legitimate victims are questioned and aren't trusted. Because of how serious these accusations are, I will not discuss them in any capacity until I am certain there is no other path forward and I'm forced to pursue legal action to clear my name of these malicious lies. Thank you to all of my community for sticking with me through this. Y'all's support means the world to me and I'm not going anywhere. My content will remain unchanged as I have done nothing wrong, and I will never let a baseless lie stop me from doing what I love. So right off the bat, I mean, he is outright denying the allegations here. He's saying I didn't do anything. He's saying the relationship between me and Pinky Chew ended poorly, and as a result, she is trying to use our poor ending of a relationship to claim that she was assaulted, when in reality, nothing actually happened. That's his claim. Now, Twitter's reaction to this was somewhat mixed. Obviously, it's kind of along the lines of what you would expect for someone like Tectone, who has some controversy behind him. People who like him say he's innocent. People who don't like him say he's guilty. That's just the way it goes, right? That's the way that the human brain works, unfortunately. Evidence does not matter. Having anything dead to rights does not matter. It's just, if he is a guy I like, he is not guilty. If he's a guy I don't like, he is guilty. That's literally it. But one of the funniest replies was from Keemstar. He replied to Tectone's tweet saying, I have no idea why all you streamers date these OnlyFans clout demons. You guys always get wrecked in the end one way or another. Classic Keemstar coming in, had a good take. He had a good take. He doesn't always have a good take, but in this situation, I think he had a good take. Now, another guy here from the politics sphere of Twitch would also come out, a guy named Mike from PA. He's known for punching couches in the past. He's also known for making some death threats against other streamers, and he would say, the allegations against Tectone are horrifying. I hope Twitch does something quickly to keep this community safe. So here he's essentially encouraging that Tectone be censored over unproven allegations because of the fact that he doesn't really like him or doesn't like his political takes, basically. I feel like that's not a good way to go about it. I feel like, you know, if the allegations are proven to be true in a court of law and you want to ban him at that point, okay, fair enough. But at this point, there's literally no evidence that he did anything wrong. She said he did something wrong. He said he didn't. So what the truth is up in the air. The only people who really know truly are them. But with no evidence, I have to assume he's innocent at this point. But Mike from PA is just like, all right, he's guilty. Ban him now. And several people who also had beef with Tectone in the past would also tweet making fun of him, basically saying they're glad these allegations are happening. Like this guy, for example, named Canths, he said, I am shocked by the news that Tectone, a worse version of Asmongold, is a piece of shit. Who could have seen this coming? And his evidence for this is that he said the word retard. Who cares? Who cares? How does this mean anything? How does this mean anything? Because he said the R word. He said the R word. Well, I guess anyone who says retard is just touching women. Apparently that's what this guy believes. He doesn't like the fact that he made a joke tweet that said it's okay to be white. Which, to be clear, I don't think Tectone's doing anything weird there. I think people are making this out like it's some kind of white supremacist dog whistle. But like in current year, it's really not. He's just making a joke. They also don't like that he said he's going to make fun of fat people, as if that matters once again. And the final thing that really was the nail in the coffin for this guy was that he said Kamala Harris better be ready to start up an OnlyFans because her ass ain't going to be the president. That apparently was enough for him to think that there is verified evidence that this guy was potentially essaying someone because he made some tweets. Like, these people basically have no brain. They literally have no brain. It's just, guy I don't like must be guilty. Guy I do like can't be guilty. Literally every streamer has said the R word at some point in time. Does that mean they're all touching people? I don't think so. I could be wrong. I don't think so. Now, Tectone's community would respond majorly positively to these allegations. They saw there was no proof, so they were like, let's support him. They got him to a level 20 hype train, which went as far as getting 800 new subs in 10 minutes, which is pretty crazy, all things considered. You know, his community is very loyal. They're financially supporting him, so that's interesting to see. Now, one tweet would get almost 40,000 likes saying, depressing as F that we're at the point now where R-word allegations are helping men's careers. Now, I think to me, the weird thing about this is like, okay, obviously the R-word allegations, they're helping his career a little bit, but if it was proven that he had done that, it would not help his career. He would be blown off the face of the earth. He would be astro shot into space. He would be nuked from orbit, right? Like, that is what would happen. But the thing is here, there's no proof that he did anything. Like, there's no proof. So in the absence of proof, it makes sense that this audience would be supportive of him through a tough time when they believe he's innocent. Now, another familiar face here needs to come in. We saw Mike from PA. Now we get to go to Denims, who's a Hassan orbiter, and she would also talk about Tectone in a very negative light. I can't seem to find the original clip, but it doesn't really matter for this context because Tectone would respond on stream essentially shitting on her, and he made a joke that he only watches her with his pants off because she has an OnlyFans.
Denims talks about you? Dude, I only watch Denims clips offline. Yeah, with my pants off. Yeah, I can't watch those on stream. Yeah, it just shouldn't bother.
Now, Denims didn't like this very much, despite the fact she publicly has an OnlyFans. She said she was being harassed sexually because of this. She said, interesting move to sexually harass a streamer after trying to disprove your sexual allegations. But we can see what at Twitch support think. Like, it's so funny. These people just got banned for being crazy on Twitch for doing a rating panel where they rated Jews below Arabs on an official TwitchCon event. They all got banned for that. And they're already coming back. They're already like, all right, time to use the same censorship tools that we just complained about to censor the other side. Like, really? Is that really a good thing thing to do? I feel like it's probably not. Also, like, is this really sexual harassment? Like, you do have an OnlyFans where you publicly post your nude body, so like, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't know. Like, I'm trying to stay neutral in this entire video because when it comes to allegations, there could be more proof that comes out that shows that Tectone is an asshole. You know, I don't know him. I don't have any personal ties to him, so that could be the case. And if that happens, I'm gonna have to cover it, and you know, I will. But I'm just gonna straight up say, like, this shit is retarded. Shit talking someone on live stream is not sexual harassment when you have an OnlyFans. Like, should that be something you're proud of? It's not like you're hiding this. It's not like you're like the most covered up girl of all time. Like, you're literally proudly publicly posting pictures of your nude body. You can't take a joke in that vein. But either way, this isn't even the first time Denims has had some kind of beef with Tectone. They have kind of a history. Most infamously, she laughed at him on stream talking about his dad having PTSD because Tectone's dad is a soldier.
My dad's deployed 17 times. My dad has served for over 40 years in the military. All my family has served. And seeing my brothers before the war and after the war, they became different people. My dad also has PTSD, and it's very awful to fucking see. And
so, I mean, you know, she's in that Frogan camp, essentially, because Tectone was reacting to Frogan being nuts and what she said. So this girl, Denims, was like, oh, what? PTSD? Oh. It's so weird to see these streamers act as if they have any place to talk about anyone else's hardships when, like, you are literally a streamer who just steals people's content all day. That's all you do. Denims, for those who don't know, literally for an hour before she starts her stream, she just plays other people's YouTube videos or streams and is just not there. That is what she does. Like, you are literally a content thief. You have the easiest job in the world, and you are shitting on soldiers for having PTSD. I'm not saying every military operation is good, but if you want to criticize the military, criticize the people at the top. Don't criticize the average people who needed a job or went into the military for whatever reason, who then got traumatized as a result of that. So honestly, it's not really a surprise given Denim's prior takes that when she discussed the allegations on stream, she referred to them as objective fact when once again there has been literally zero actual proof shown. Like, she is straight up slandering him.
There's no accusation here. There is only factual proof, factual statements about things we have proof of him doing. It's not an opinionated matter. It's a statement of fact.
Now, a few days after Tectone made his initial statement, he would amend his initial points, and he said that Pinky had 2 weeks to come clean initially, right? But now he's saying she has 24 hours to admit that she made a false allegation before he pursues some kind of legal action against her.
Pink, before I made a post and I said I would give you 2 weeks, you no longer have 2 weeks. You have 24 hours.
So things are really heating up at this point. The allegations are getting more serious. There's threats of legal action. He seems confident in himself. Pinky Chew seems confident in herself. And at this point, things kind of got crazy because Tectone resigned from OTK. He resigned from his organization where he was a part of with Asmongold, Emiru, Mizkif, all these guys. He resigned officially. Now, obviously, there's been a lot of speculation around this. People believed initially that basically he left OTK because they kicked him out and he hadn't actually resigned. It was like, you know, I'm leaving, but secretly he got kicked out. But Tectone explained in his own words that his contract had just expired and he decided not to renew it, which does seem to be the case looking at the dates that he is showing at least. I mean, that could be the case for sure. But it also could be the case that OTK wasn't desperate to re-sign him because of how these allegations look and how people are talking about them. And obviously he could be a business risk to them, whether he's guilty or not. There's also another clip floating around from about 2 months ago where Tectone insinuated he was going to be leaving OTK anyway. So this seems like it was actually a long time coming with the allegations here kind of being part of the straw that broke the camel's back. But I don't think it's as black and white from what I can tell as OTK dropped him because he did something bad. Like, first of all, like I said, there's no proof he did anything bad. Secondly, the timing here does seem to line up with the prior clip.
And the reason why I chose to not renew with OTK is because it gave me a weakness. And I realized I really don't like having weaknesses. And that weakness is that I don't like how people can go after other people when I do some dumb shit. As a guy who does a lot of dumb shit, a lot, I don't like having to worry about other people.
Now, other members of OTK have also reacted to the situation, basically saying, if it's true, he should be in jail, but if not, he shouldn't, because they don't want to make definitive statements, because Asmongold, at least, you know, right now, is being pretty smart. He realizes, like, look, I don't know what happened here. I wasn't there. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but innocent until proven guilty, right? Tectone still has yet to drop this 24-hour bomb thing that he planned, but it could be the case that he's silently pursuing legal action and not taking it public, which he did say on his stream that he was going to be pursuing some kind of legal action. So ultimately, that's the situation that we're in right now. You know, with any allegations in general, you have kind of the public facing part of it, which is like this girl makes a claim, Tectone denies it, they go back and forth a little bit, Tectone threatens legal action. Past that point, we don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes, which at least if we take Tectone's words with any weight, which, you know, we can't take it with a grain of salt, but with any weight, there does seem to be people behind the scenes moving to destroy Tectone. Now, there could be justification for that we don't know about, but the big point here is we don't know about it. So I don't like to make definitive statements saying that he's fucking guilty when we have literally no evidence of it. And a lot of the arguments from the people like Denims who are saying he is guilty ultimately are only going to hurt actual victims in the future, or if there's real victims here, she's going to hurt them, because it pushes this idea that because you're on a side of the political spectrum, you're guilty, that because you make fun of people on stream, you're guilty, when in reality, things are much more complicated than that. Oftentimes, the nicest, most publicly facing, awesome, positive people, oh my God, I love you guys so much, those people oftentimes are the guys that are the most twisted, and sometimes the people that are the edgiest are the least twisted. But also, exists on a spectrum, of course. Sometimes, you know, people of one political disposition or people of one belief system can be completely in contradiction to that in their private life, and we just don't know about it. Like, there's just too much speculation here to say that Tectone did it, because there's so much room for error, because we don't know. So if evidence comes out that proves that Tectone actually did something evil, I will cover that. But until that point, I have to assume his innocence ultimately. Anyway, today is Thanksgiving, so I hope that in between watching this video, if you're watching it on Thanksgiving, you guys are eating that turkey. Okay, I know it's a little dry, but just scuff it down. Okay, it's a tradition. Spend some quality time with your family and your friends, and hopefully think about me, because if you're not, that's a problem. And I think more importantly, the thing to remember is that this video of serious misconduct is partially sponsored by the shirt I'm wearing, which is coming out tomorrow, for sale tomorrow. Check it out. You see that swag? Oh yeah, see that? Oh yeah. We also have a crew neck coming. It will be out tomorrow. It will be out on tomorrow's the 29th, so it'll be out tomorrow. You guys can buy it. Hopefully you like it. If you don't buy it, I hate you forever. Bye.